Welcome to Zest, everybody!
I'm Kennedy.
And I'm Jen.
And we are so excited to have you guys back for another video. We're going to talk about Zest today, and then we're also going to talk about a lot of careers related to STEM and some that you can hopefully go into.
Okay, so I want everyone to take a moment to stop and think, and I'm going to read you a few questions. And if you are answering yes to the question, you're going to give a thumbs up. And if you're answering no to the question, you're just going to give a thumbs down. So have you ever created something before? If you created something before, then give a thumbs up. Alrighty, so we'll give you a few examples. Have you ever created a fort? So maybe a pillow fort with blankets on your couch, a snowman? How about cookies or any baked good like cake, cupcakes, bread? Yep. How about a tower out of blocks? It doesn't need to be recent. You can think back to preschool even. I'm sure almost everyone has created a tower out of blocks. So give a thumbs up if you've done that. So if you answered yes to any of these questions, that means that you are all engineers. So you have engaged in STEM before. And just as a little reminder, STEM stands for science, engineering, mathematics, and technology. So all those subjects are integrated into the word STEM, and you have all made your way into the STEM field if you've done any of those activities.
All right. So now that we talked a little bit about STEM itself, we're going to talk about Zest. So what is Zest? It's an approaching a situation with excitement and energy. So, for example, when we first came onto the screen, we purposely were extra zesty for this video. So we came on and we said, welcome to Zest. And so we were extra excited and energetic for that. It would be a lot different if we came onto the screen and we said, hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Zest, so get ready. I feel like that's a little bit boring to me. I would much rather listen to somebody who's energetic and excited with things. So that's kind of the essence of Zest. It's being excited and energetic with things.
Okay, so why do you think that astronauts should have Zest? So you can turn and talk with a partner or just reflect on your own, and teachers, you can pause this video right now and then come back when your class is ready. Okay, welcome back. So we would love to hear all your answers for why you think astronauts should have Zest, but since we can't listen to all of you, we are going to just share what we said. So we said that astronauts should have Zest because they're in really close corners with one another. So if someone's having a really bad day, they need to be able to work that out and to be able to still move along in their journey in space. They also need to have Zest because they can't really go anywhere. So they're stuck in that space shuttle and they're only interacting with a few astronauts up there. So they need to be extra zestful and extra positive. It's also really difficult to become an astronaut. So throughout that whole really long process, which takes years upon years to become an astronaut, you need to be extra zestful to meet your lifelong goal of becoming an astronaut.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we have another question for you guys. So you can turn back to that same partner, or if you're by yourself, you can just reflect on yourself, or you can even write it down on a piece of paper, whatever is best for you guys. So what excites you about STEM? So in a few slides, we're going to talk a little bit about some STEM careers, but anything in the whole wide world, if you've ever heard about anything about STEM, any activities that you've done. I know in previous videos, we've done a lot of STEM activities and challenges. So even if you want to write about that, you can. So you can just go ahead and talk to your neighbor about some of the things, or you can write it on a piece of paper. And you can pause the video here and turn back when you're all set. All right, so thank you guys for writing about what excites you about STEM. So now we're gonna move on to talking about some careers.
Okay, so how can you get excited by STEM? So that's what we're going to be talking about with all the different careers. So there are tons of fun careers in STEM. So becoming an astronaut is a STEM field, or an engineer who helps create rocket ships at NASA. So like I said before, becoming an astronaut is such a long process. So I'm just going to briefly discuss that with everyone because I find it extremely interesting. So to even become an astronaut or be considered to work for NASA, you have to have a master's degree in a STEM field. So I know you all are probably thinking that's a really big word. So a master's degree happens after you go to college. So that means you need to first go to college and study something, and then you have to go to college again to study a STEM related field. So NASA gave us a few careers to talk to you all about. So you can be an engineer, like we said on here. You can study biological sciences, physical sciences, computer science, mathematics. There's so many options. The options are endless. And then with that, you also need to have 2 years of a job experience in STEM. So you can't just go to college and get a degree in STEM. You also need to practice that and show NASA all your STEM skills. And then also, there are so many people who apply to work for NASA there and become an astronaut. They get each year around 18,000 applications, which is crazy. So imagine all those people. They need to be so zestful because there's only a handful of astronauts who actually get to go to space. So out of all those people, NASA almost chops that list into quarters even more, and they really only pick a few astronauts to come back for interviews. And then of those lucky astronauts who got to go for interviews, they cut that list even shorter, and then they pick their astronauts who need to go through years of training before they can even go to space. So I don't know about you, but when I was reading that, and I'm sure Kennedy listening to it now is probably thinking that's a lot of work. I mean, I don't know if that many people would want to do all that because it takes so long to find out if you can even go to space. So all those astronauts, even if they're not picked to go to space, have to be so zestful during their time. And I'm sure that NASA wants those who come in for interviews to be really zestful and full of energy.
But again, don't let that deter you. I know she threw you guys a bunch of big numbers and a lot of education and college and all that stuff. Being an astronaut is an amazing opportunity. So if you want to go for it, you go for it. And you put in that grit and hard work and you can get there.
And you'd be extra zestful when you're talking to NASA about it.
Yes. So now we're just going to do a little bit more on STEM careers. We just picked a few to highlight, and then we're going to also watch a video with a bunch more. So this is another one, a civil engineer. So this person is in the STEM field as well, and they help to build roads and bridges. So I actually have a quick little video to show you guys of a bridge. So I'm just going to go ahead and play it.
The bridge oscillating in one of its natural modes of vibration with a period of 5 seconds. A professor of engineering.
All right, so as you can see on that video, this was an actual bridge. I'm not exactly sure of the location, but this bridge, it went like that. It was flopping all over the place because of the high winds. So a civil engineer is going to help design different bridges to help due to the weather, intense weather, high winds, all that kind of stuff. They're going to think about that, and they're going to be able to make different designs and things like that. And they also, like I said before, help with roads and a whole bunch of other stuff like that.
The bridge oscillating.
All right, and another one that we wanted to talk about was computer science. So this is another amazing STEM-related career you can go into. So this has to do a lot with mathematics and engineering skills to be able to start a career in computer science. Now, I think it was in the social intelligence video we also did earlier on before the big downlink. We talked about coding and how important that was for social intelligence. But coding itself is a part of computer science as well. So you would be coding, making commands and all that stuff to kind of code your computer itself. So that's just another example of a STEM related field that you can potentially go into as well.
Okay, so now we are going to watch a little video, and we are going to hear from STEM professionals themselves who talk about the careers they went into, why they went into them. Some of these careers you might be really familiar with, and some of them you might not be. So just keep that in mind. And as you're watching the video, you can jot down a career or two that you find really interesting and that you might want to pursue.
Hi, I'm Liz Montano, and I'm a forensics researcher at Battelle.
My name is Tim Ruthinger, and I make artificial limbs for a living.
My name is Megan Jackson, and I'm a doctor for blood and cancer.
My name is John Phippen. I'm an audio post-production engineer at Magnetic Studios.
I'm Dr. Tammy Chan, and I'm an OBGYN doctor.
I'm Nick Fackler. I work with environmental DNA.
Hi, I'm Whitney Marker, and I'm an animal program specialist.
Every day, I work in the lab studying DNA from crime scenes to help law enforcement catch bad guys. I do that by extracting DNA from soil, genes, any type of evidence, and I sequence it to identify one person from another.
We work on the audio side of commercials as well as films, and we add music and sound effects. Basically bring the whole sound portion of the project together.
I work with cheetahs and hyenas, aardvarks, silvery-cheeked hornbills, black-backed jackals, and they all have really different personalities. Having a science background really helps me describe the biology and the zoology, different adaptations that these animals have.
So every day, I get to take care of wonderful kids that have different diseases. My job as a doctor is to give medications that helps kill those bad cells, so that way all the good cells can flow and move and make the child healthy again.
So since I was a kid, I've been interested in science. I read every science fiction book I could get my hands on as a kid. My dad and I used to go collect rocks and polish those rocks, starting with geology, and it just sparked my interest, and eventually figured out that genetics was the place that I wanted to be.
So I had a teacher, she was a biology teacher in high school. Her name was Mrs. McCracken, and I loved her because she made learning really fun. Every day I liked going to class because I knew I would learn something new.
The person who really inspired me was my high school English teacher. The inspiration that I got from her to always broaden my horizons and look for something different and exciting let me drop into this field and be successful at it.
The cool part about science is you can do anything you want. STEM is all around you.
The hard work I put toward studying my math and sciences has enabled me to have a great career where I get to literally change people's lives before my eyes.
Teachers,
mentor,
teacher,
great instructors.
Encourage me to get involved.
Trying to get a good idea of what it is you really want to do makes a big difference early on.
It's fulfilling to go to work every day and know that what I'm doing solves real-world problems that affects people all over the world.
Okay. So I hope that all of you maybe found some careers that you might not be interested in. And even if you're not interested in a STEM career, do not think that you still can't change the world and inspire other people. As you saw, so many of these people were inspired by teachers, and their teacher might not have a degree in STEM, but still they were able to be inspired. And teachers still teach you about STEM. But I don't want you guys to think that you can't inspire people or change the world if you don't go into a STEM-centered field. Okay, so now we are going to do a little bit of a STEM challenge. So we are going to create a paper span bridge. So we are going to create a paper bridge that holds as many books as possible using the materials listed below. So the materials are paper, tape, and books. So I know that you are all probably thinking there is no way that we can create a bridge out of books and paper. But you definitely can. You just need to be extra, extra zesty. That's what our stipulation is for you to be extra zesty when doing this. So just to clarify, when you create your bridge, the paper part to your bridge is what is going to hold the books. So you can use books on both sides of your bridge, as you can see in the picture, but the paper itself needs to be what is holding up the books. So you can work in small groups if you would like. That might make it a little bit less of a challenge because you guys can collaborate together and be extra zesty with one another. And if you're home or you do not have a partner to work with, that is totally okay too. You can do it on your own and still be extra zesty. So there's no limit to how much paper or how much tape you can use, but we do want the paper and the bridge to be up off the ground. So it's like a bridge, and the bridge itself needs to just be made out of paper, as you can see in this picture. And teachers, if your class needs a little bit more clarification, you can use the link that's listed below and just type in the URL.
All right, so you can pause the video here and participate in the activity. All right, so welcome back to our PowerPoint. So I hope you guys did well on the STEM challenge. I wish we could see all of your guys' bridges. That would be pretty cool.
We tried it and we had to be so zesty because we were struggling at first. We didn't know how to make the books go off the ground, but we were able to hold 2 books, which was impressive for us because we were having so much trouble getting started.
All right, so now we're gonna just reflect a little bit. So the first question, you can just think to yourself, did you have fun while working? So I know when Jennifer and I were participating in this, we had a lot of fun. We were being extra zesty because that was the one stipulation we had. We had to be fun and energetic while doing it. And that made it a lot more fun. It made the experience a lot more enjoyable.
We were laughing when it fell down because at the end of it, it was just a fun activity. It wasn't anything too serious.
So number 2, again, you can just think to yourself, did you find that being positive and energetic made the experience better? As opposed to just maybe not being as zestful, not being as fun. All right, so like I said before a little bit, Jen and I, when we did it, we definitely felt that being energetic and more positive made the overall experience a lot better. So number 3, do we have to be full of zest at all times of the day? Now this is a little bit of a more tricky question. So if you want to talk to somebody, you can talk and collaborate and see what they think as well. But for our answer, I'm gonna go ahead and say no, because it's not really realistic for us to be zestful and full of energy and positive all the time, because life, a lot of times it doesn't go as planned. A lot of challenges can occur, a lot of just crazy things. And it's really not realistic to be full of zest at all times of the day. But that being said, what we wanted you to kind of get out of this and why it's important for astronauts to even have is to make the overall experience a lot better. You're being positive, because we don't always want to be negative about things and not energetic about things, because it doesn't make everybody feel as great. It doesn't make the experience a lot better. But overall, zest, we don't always have to be full of zest at every point of the day. Maybe just when challenges occur, trying to get over that bridge.
Thank you all for coming. We hope that you learned a lot about Zest and maybe you found a future career in STEM. And if not, that is totally okay too. But we just hope that you understand the importance of being zestful in life, even when it might be a little bit challenging too.
Thank you guys.
Bye.